I am very pleased to announce the next speaker, Nancy Bruce. Nancy has been a wonderful friend and a beautiful business partner here at Lavender Lane. And thank you so much for your contributions to our success and our 4 years of being in business now. Nancy is an emotional weight loss coach. She's an emotional freedom practitioner, and she's always expanding her knowledge and looking at new and different ways to use her tools. She's highly intuitive, and I can't speak highly enough of her. And her services are just life transforming. So thank you, Nancy, for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm happy to be here. I guess I should start with a little bit about myself. I personally have struggled with weight my entire life. Always having that negative conversation with myself of, you're not thin enough, you're not this enough, you're not that enough, and always being quite consumed with food. Always thinking about my next meal, what am I going to eat, how much am I going to eat, overindulging, all of those things. So that put me on a path to study the subconscious weight loss blockers and all of the ahas that I had while I was doing them. So I'm going to talk to you today about the seven, well, there's actually more subconscious weight loss blockers. And I guess first I should say the programs that I offer. I offer it's a 12-week program that I offer for the weight loss blockers. It's 12 weeks because we really need to try to get to the root of our emotions. It didn't happen overnight. And we really have to go and do a lot of healing of ourselves. So 12 weeks allows us to basically look under the rocks and clear everything that's happening under there. I do offer individual sessions as well. They can be one-offs. So for instance, if somebody has a fear of something, we can often clear those simply but with one session. And I also do tapping into wealth because we have a lot of money blocks as well. And I've been successful in helping people with that as well. It's surprising where those blocks come from. So I would like to talk now about weight loss blockers. And then I would actually like to go into a tapping session with you guys. So the one weight loss blocker is it is actually cravings. And we tend to mix cravings and emotional eating together. Cravings is when we're actually moving toward a certain feeling. So a craving is going to be a food that you are looking to feel love or joy or, some type of happy feeling. So a craving is going to be a very specific food, and you're moving toward a feeling. On the other end of that is an emotional eating or binge. And that is actually going to happen when we are moving away from a feeling. So, those days where you've had maybe a crappy day or empty day or a lonely day or whatever, you just want to go to the cupboard and you just eat. It's not specific food. It is just basically whatever you can find. So you find yourself in the fridge or the cupboard and you're just kind of eating endlessly. And it doesn't satisfy you. You just keep going and going and going. So there's a lot of different things going on with emotional eating, but like I said, with cravings, it's going to be a very specific food and you're going to be going towards a feeling. Another one is you don't want to make people feel bad. So you might have a connection with a friend or a family member or somebody that, maybe your thing is dieting together. Maybe your thing is going out for lunch. Maybe your thing is eating popcorn together. And what happens to that relationship if all of a sudden you're not carrying the weight anymore and you're not obsessed around the food? It can also be that you know somebody that has struggled with their weight their entire life. And, if you were to lose the weight, they would feel even worse about themselves. So you stop yourself from doing it to protect that person. And it's subconscious, but we still do it. Another a subconscious weight loss blocker is having to clean your plate. I don't know about you guys, but when I was younger, my parents would fill my plate with food at the dinner table, whether I was hungry or not, and I wasn't allowed to leave the table until that plate was clean, because of the starving kids in India. So I brought that into the rest of my life, that I had to finish that bag of chips. I had to finish my plate, even if I wasn't hungry. There's a feeling that, oh, if I don't feel that then if I don't finish that, then I'm being disrespectful to my mom or the cook or whoever. So you just kind of mindlessly finish the plate. So another one is when it's a sense of I'm too sexy. So at some point in our lives, it could have been as bad as rape, but it could be, you were just made to feel really bad in your body when you were actually at your weight. So it could have been a cat call, or it could have been, when you're walking down the street and some guy is just like, woohoo, and you just feel really gross in your body. And it makes you want to create a shield around you. And that's oftentimes what weight is, we just want to hide. We don't want to feel our feelings. So we hide, and we tend to create a shield around us. And oftentimes that shield is to keep men away, or keep, not just men, but just keep people out that it's like, I just don't want to feel sexy. You can often see it in, women that they're possibly older, where they just don't feel like being sexy because they feel like it's one more thing that they have to give to their partner, and they're just tired. And I know that sounds crazy, but on a subconscious level, that does happen. Another one is you can't make me. So this is about authority figure. And we're basically rebelling. So when we're eating, we're rebelling because, our inner self is saying, you can't take this away from me. And this is my way to say, screw you. So I'm going to eat. So it's just like if that inner child is rebelling and saying, screw you. And then there's a sense of, of never feeling full. And there's a huge sense of deprivation within us. It could be deprivation of love. It could be deprivation from a lot of things. And you just eat because you're trying to fill the void, and never truly aware of what that feeling is. There's a lot of hidden blockers And I like to work with everybody. I like to work with my clients just to, make sure that we're looking under all of those stones and clearing them all out. We don't know what was set in our brains. We don't know the weight beliefs and whatnot that were passed down to us through society, through our parents, through anybody really, or the thoughts that we have perceived and made up in our own mind around what we've seen, what we've done, what we've heard, and it just becomes a part of us. I'd like to, if we can, I'd like to move on to doing some tapping. I invite people to turn their cameras on so that I can show you how to do the tapping. And I like to watch people when they're doing the tapping as well, just to make sure they're doing it right and to watch their emotions and just kind of guide you along. I'm going to start by showing you the tapping points because we're going to be doing the tapping as we do the emotional, as we do the technique as well. So the first point, and I'll be tapping along with you so you can follow along with me, is where the eyebrow meets the eye is the first tapping point. And then beside the eye, and under the eye, and under the nose, and under the mouth, and then the collarbone, and then the thymus, and then under the arm. So it's about 4 fingers down from your armpit, and it's kind of along the bra strap, and sometimes it can be a bit tender. Some people it's not. And the top of your head. And I like to refer to it as the question mark, and then the under the arm and the top of the head, just so you kind of remember it. Again, I'm going to be doing it with you, so it's okay. So what I'm going to invite you to do is I want you to think of a food that you crave. So we're going to work just on the craving part. It is going to be a very specific food. And if it's in the house, it's kind of calling your name, it's in there. And yeah, it's really hard to say no to. Okay, so what I want you to do is I want you to imagine you have that food right in front of you. And on a scale of 0 to 10, I want you to try to bring that craving up as high as you can. So how badly do you want to eat this food? On a scale of 0 to 10, how high would that craving be? And write it down. And now what I want you to do is I want you to focus on that food again. And I want you to, there's going to be all kinds of positive feelings in that food. And what I want you to do is I want you to scoop up, imagine you're scooping up all of those feelings from that food. So there could be love, there could be connection, there could be whatever it is. Just imagine that you're scooping it all up and place it into your heart. And then I want you to imagine that you're putting a ball around these feelings within your heart. Okay? And we're going to start tapping soon. And I want to connect those feelings and connect that food to a time and or a person that you remember sharing this with. So I've had people connecting, a bag of chips with a feel-good movie. It could be cookies with a grandmother. Who is that person that you, or people that you shared that food with and brought all of those feelings? Okay, so now we're going to start tapping. So I want you to imagine that ball of light with all of those emotions. And I want you to imagine that you're taking a bite of that food. And feel all of those emotions when you take a bite of that food. That love, that connection, that joy, all of those emotions. And then take that ball of light with that food in it and pass it to that person or those people that you shared the food with. If it's more than one person, just imagine that you're sharing it with those different people and have those people take a bite of that food when they accept that ball of light into their heart. And they're probably going to take a bite and, they're probably going to smile at you, or they're going to be full of the joy that you experienced. If it's a thing, just pass it back and forth to the TV or the tree or whatever it is, that moment that you remember feeling it, but just pass it around. And then bring that ball of light back to your heart from that person. And take another bite of that food, or imagine that you're taking another bite of that food. And consume all of those emotions that you feel when you take that bite of food. Pass it back to the other person, thing, people, whatever it is for you. And keep passing it back and forth. Leave it with the other person or keep it with you as long as you need it. And just keep passing it. Just back and forth. And experience the feelings. You might notice that the ball of light is getting bigger. You might notice that the food is getting smaller. Whatever you're noticing is perfectly fine. Maybe the food just doesn't have the power that it used to have, because you're just really connecting with that person or those people or that thing. It's really not about the food. We're just going to keep passing it back and forth. Maybe the light's getting brighter, whatever it is. The next time the ball of light comes back to you, just hold on to it and keep it in your heart. Okay, keep that heart. But as subconscious eaters, we can kind of go, well, that makes sense that it would be emotional because I'm trying to eat to avoid my emotions or to feel my emotions, or simply just to feel something else because I don't want to be with what I'm feeling right now. So we numb out. I just want to let you know as well, I do 1 hour free discovery calls with everybody. If this is something that you feel that you'd be interested in, book a discovery call and see, let's take a look at the different emotions that you're dealing with. And, let's see if we can possibly get to the root of it. If the times that I show available at Lavender Lane don't work for you, just send me an email and we can try to work something out as well. I'll just put it here. And for those of you that are interested, I'm actually just starting a Facebook page as well. I'll be talking about the blockers and being very open and vulnerable about my experience with weight. And it's just tapping with Nancy. Like I said, I just started it. So, and it's a closed group. So it's a place where we can be vulnerable and talk about these things as well. Because it is a very emotional thing. And we probably haven't talked about it. And that's why there's subconscious blockers, right? Because we haven't talked about them. We've just pushed them down, literally pushed them down with food, literally. We eat our emotions, we eat our words. There's, you know, so many emotions in there that we just haven't honored. And as women, I think we can also acknowledge that everybody else's emotions come first. And no, we have to honor ourselves first, because our issues are honoring us. And I like to look at the weight or the blockers as gifts, because the gifts are, I can heal me. And this is my body's great way of showing me that I have something that I can heal, so that I can love myself, and so I can feel better about myself. That's coming from a person who used to hate herself, because I really did hate myself. I hated everything about myself. And I was able to go, okay, all the punishment and willpower and whatnot didn't work. It was just a matter of, okay, you know what? I need to change this. We can't punish a child better. So why would we punish ourselves better? And the harshness hurts, and it turns into shame. And shame is the absolute lowest emotion that we can ever experience. So we can't just all of a sudden try positive affirmations and whatnot. And it's like, no, but I've got all of this shame and I need to clear out this shame, because there's no need to feel shame about this at all. We're not taught what and how to deal with our emotions. We're just expected to soldier on and look out for everybody else. And no, it's our turn. It's our turn to heal ourselves so that we have more to give up. Another thing for women too is when I say about being selfish, we automatically go, I can't be selfish. No way. And I'm talking selfish in a way that I'm looking after myself so I have more to give other people. And when I heal myself and I love myself, it is easier to give to others. I don't come from, when we're not filling our souls and we're not looking after ourselves and we're giving and we're giving and we're giving. Have you ever noticed how resentful we become at times? It's like, really? One more thing that I have to do for you? What about me? When is it my turn? When we're looking after ourselves first, we get to decide, do I want to do that? Yep, I want to do that. Okay, I'll do that. Or, do you know what? No, I don't want to do that, because that's going to suck a little bit more out of me, and I'm not prepared to go that right now. So it doesn't have that negative pull of, well, look, I'm doing it for you, and you get to be the martyr. That doesn't help you at all either. It's just, you can say, no, that's not for me right now. Even conversations that it's like, yeah, do you know what? I can't have this conversation right now. It's not because I don't love you. It's because I love me and I'm not in the space to have that conversation right now. And it's okay to say that. It's looking out for us the way that we've never been looked out for, because we were expected to love and give. So I'm sure could be contributing emotion. Yeah, definitely. Guilt is a huge one. Guilt is an absolute huge one. And who has put that guilt on us, and why are we giving them that much power? I guess is that, who are they to say that I should feel guilty? Who are they to, like, how are they any better than me? Why should I feel guilty? You're not walking in my shoes. But yeah, we do feel guilty. When we're not looking after ourselves and we can't give to other people, we feel guilty. And it's like, well, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. I can't even look after myself, and I'm going to feel guilty because I can't look after somebody else. No, I need to start with looking after me and loving myself first, empowering myself. The best way to get anybody to do anything is to empower them and motivate them. But we beat ourselves down and are downright cruel to ourselves. And it doesn't help. It sends us down another path of negativity and self-loathing, right? So it's like, okay, how can we turn this around? And that's that gift of, okay, how can I love myself? How can I show myself the love that I've been looking for? So in the work, you can see that we give that love to you. We slowly reprogram with the tapping that love that you've been looking for. So there's a bunch of different techniques that we use. You're welcome. You're welcome. So again, I invite any of you to sign up for a discovery call to talk about your personal journey. I invite you to join my page at Tapping with Nancy. Or the floor is still open for cravings first, and then I move into emotional eating. So I like to trigger different times that you are emotionally eating and follow it back so that we can clear kind of all of the emotions. What was going on? Where do you need to find your voice? What does that little girl inside of you need to feel whole? A lot of this stuff goes back to like first chakra stuff of feeling unsafe from newborn to age 2, age 4. And a lot of times we wouldn't make the connection to that 2-year-old or that 4-year-old because it's like, well, I didn't have a weight problem then. No, a lot of weight problems don't actually start until, 40s for people, but it still has to do with the emotional stuff that was going on for you when you were younger or not going on for you when you were younger. And I think that that is a bigger discussion for a lot of people. Because we could have what seemed like the best parents in the world, yet how could they know our every need? And the child is coming from the parents couldn't fill my needs because I couldn't voice them. So how could my parents have done that, have filled that need? So we like to, with the program, I like to go back and, heal that little girl to let her know she's safe, she's loved, and you've got her back the way nobody has ever had her back in her entire life. And she's not taking crap from anybody. And I'm not saying that in a nasty way. I'm saying in that, no, let's step into our lives and be proud of who we are and not cover up our emotions, our feelings, because we all have them. And we would be the first ones to jump ship to go and help anybody else, but we're not doing it for ourselves. And it's time to do it for ourselves. And when we do it for ourselves, we change all of the people around us. As a mom of 2 daughters, I want my daughter to see me going, no, I come first, I can say no, and I love me no matter what. Because I don't want my daughter carrying all of this stuff the rest of her life the way that I did into my 40s and my 50s. I want it gone for her. So we're doing this not just for ourselves, for a bunch of people, right? And actually stepping into our